My life here in Mexico has been beautiful, but if I'm being honest, there were definitely some culture shocks after living in the US my entire life. If you are considering moving to Mexico, I wanted to share a few things that surprised me, so you have a more real picture of what life here actually feels like. One culture shock for me was the water situation in Mexico. You don't drink tap water, you rely on large water jugs called garrafones for drinking and cooking. Produce needs to be cleaned properly, and in some places people even brush their teeth with purified water. At first it felt like a lot, but over time it becomes second nature. I haven't been sick once since moving here, but you do have to be intentional. Many people install a water filtration system in their home to avoid garrafones completely. Another culture shock is that cash is still very important in Mexico. I was used to tapping my card for everything, but here a lot of places only accept cash. Another culture shock for me was not being able to flush toilet paper everywhere. In many homes in Mexico, you can't flush toilet paper because some plumbing systems aren't designed for it. Instead, you throw it in a trash bin next to the toilet. This isn't the case everywhere. In fact, most homes I've been in have allowed it, but it is something to keep in mind if you're not used to it. Another culture shock for me was realizing that Mexico isn't as cheap as most people think. Some things are more affordable, like groceries and transportation, but other items, especially imported ones, can be more expensive. Another culture shock for me was that utilities don't always work the way you expect. There are Wi-Fi outages, power outages, delays, and you just have to adapt. It's taught me how to slow down and not be so reactive when things don't go perfectly. One thing you'll notice quickly is that time is more flexible. Things don't always run on strict schedules, and being a little late isn't a huge deal here. Another big one, it's louder here. There's music, dogs, fireworks, street vendors. It's a very alive environment, even at night. And something I've grown to love is the food culture. Everything is fresher, more local. You shop more often, cook more intentionally, and even street food is widely trusted. There's also the reality that bureaucracy can be slow. Visas, paperwork, banking, it can take time, patience, and flexibility. But maybe the biggest shift for me has been this: community over individualism. People check in, they talk, they help. There's a level of connection here that I wasn't used to. There were definitely a lot of culture shocks for me when I moved to Mexico. But even with all of these adjustments, I can honestly say the good outweighs the bad for me. Living here has taught me so much about myself. And if you're thinking about moving here, just know it's not just vacation life. It's real life, just in a different rhythm. But if you're open to that rhythm, it can be really beautiful.